You're double shirting.
Yeah, but
Advertising.
advertisement. Lady Justice
He's trying to
prevails.
sell hot chips. That's what he's doing.
Lady Justice prevails.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point of the shirt. All right. All right. Welcome, everyone. Here we are at Northern Neck, the vigil for January 6th. It is day 1290. It is July 19th, 2024. And as always, a real brief prayer and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, your presence was felt this last weekend, and I hear that over and over and over and over again, and I know that it's true, and thank you. Thank you for keeping President Trump alongside of us and leading us, and please watch over him and everyone else, including President Biden. He needs our help and our support, and he needs to gracefully make his exit, but I don't want him to suddenly face the same thing that President Trump faced. And so in Jesus' name, I'm sure you'll make sure that everything works out just fine. Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I wasn't even looking at it.
Well, I think I had a Biden moment there in the middle of the prayer, but the point was I stopped into one of the county collection sites today, get rid of my trash and so on. I always try to talk to folks in there, and there's a gentleman that I met several years ago. He was a former law enforcement, and he works at the land collection site, and he's one of those guys that if you don't talk to him, he won't go out of his way. If you say hi, he will, and you get to know people. I asked him, what did you think about Trump's speech last night? Have you been watching? He goes, I've watched every minute of it, of the convention. And I said, well, what do you think about Saturday? What do you think about that? He said, basically, he kind of unloaded and said that he felt that the Iranians were involved, and that it was certainly a plan. There's no way in heck that that shooter could have been able to get up on that rooftop. So
And there's more than one shooter.
yeah, so we talked about that for a minute, and then I flipped and I said, well, what about J6? Are you familiar with the J6ers? And he says, yes. And I said, well, we hold a vigil every Friday night. We used to do it at the jail. And he stopped me there and he said, that jail is a bad, 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 bad place from the very top all the way to the bottom. And he was very familiar with Ted Hall. He's not a fan of the current superintendent, and he said that he was approached by the sheriff at one point to go and work in that place. He turned it down, and he remarked to a friend later, I'm so happy I didn't go into that place. So he knows what an awful, awful place it is. So anyway, that was just this afternoon, and I wanted to share that with you all.
Yeah, I'll put some stuff on.
Like our decorations?
It's peach time in Northern Neck. So fresh peaches just off the tree earlier this week. So yeah, go John.
Anyway, as far as the FBI, a few new things have come up just today. There are some FBI whistleblowers that are already cooperating with the Judiciary Committee. They've come forward, and we've learned a few things. First of all, most of the people with that detachment on the day of the attempted assassination were not even Secret Service agents at all. A lot of them for different branches. Also, we found out there were two other events during that day where they siphoned off the actual agents, and of course one was Jill Biden's event in Pittsburgh, which drew about 3 people, but she got the A team. She got the real Secret Service. Also, there was a NATO meeting that Secret Service had a security presence.
Where was that?
I'm not sure. I believe it might have been in New York, but I didn't bother researching that. So it appears what they are doing, they're intentionally depleting him of resources to put him at danger. They're not pulling the trigger, but they're doing everything they can to make sure it's easy for whoever wants to. And this has been going on a while. As you know, they denied RFK Jr. A security detachment. They gave him none at all. And now, of course, they've been caught. They hurried up, and he just magically got Secret Service agent. Who'd have thunk? So this is part of an ongoing campaign to weaponize government. They deplete you of resources so you can't defend yourself. And we've also learned recently that Trump's campaign has requested several times for an increased presence, and they've been denied each time. So anyway, I think things are going to keep coming up. There's a lot of really fishy things going on here. A lot of logistics that would take too long to go into as far as how the kid got there, how he was allowed to remain there. I mean, it's these next couple of weeks can be very interesting.
You get ready to speak, Maurice?
No, go on ahead.
So the Jill Biden event in Pittsburgh was an Italian-American something. It was basically a union meeting of some sort, I believe, is what it was. So yeah, and then also to your point, the people that were filling in, it sounded like the local police were not all that familiar with that kind of an event either. So
They actually had to pull people off of the traffic detail, off of a traffic detail to get enough people to cover it all. And it appears that the whole thing was just totally uncoordinated. And the fact is, you put your time and attention and money into what's important to you. Mm-hmm. And it was not important to them that this happened. So, hopefully this will get remedied. But if you notice at the RNC, they had the A-team there after being embarrassed at Butler. A bunch of big burly men, no little girls with pigtails. And by the way, before you feminists get all hot and bothered, that's not a rap on women. There are a lot of great female FBI agents, but you're not even supposed to use little men or older men. You need people that are physically capable, somebody that could carry Donald Trump off the stage. Donald Trump weighs about 230 pounds. And you have to have enough body mass to shield him. What good's a human shield if they only cover up half of the object being protected? Mm-hmm. So the whole thing's an embarrassment, and it just shows what our intelligence community has become. Excuse me, I didn't mean to get all choked up. Luckily, I don't need any security.
Yeah, well, you might at some point here, so just watch your six. Kim Cheadle, right? Cheatle is the head of the Secret Service, and apparently she's supposed to be testifying to Congress on Monday. Then I heard that she wasn't. I heard Mayorkas had nixed that, so I'm not sure if it's really happening. I saw a post this morning that said she was coming. What questions would you ask? So
the latest is she's coming. It's flipped back and forth.
So she's back and forth, yeah. But some of the statements that they made, which are comical, which is the roof that the shooter was on was a pitched roof, and it was too dangerous, even though the roofs that the snipers were on were steeper. So what a comical comment,
It was good enough for a Black Angus to get up there, so whatever they were saying.
Yeah, and also the two of the FBI shooters were on a roof like about 4 times the slope.
Right.
So yes, they can operate in that environment.
Yes, in fact, it's part of their training. So I think there's a lot of people waking up because of this. A lot of folks that were, I don't know what the words for them, the forgotten men and women of the Democrat Party. I see a lot of them, literally a flood of them coming over to our side of reason. every day, tens, if not hundreds of them posting, "I'm done with this crap." But you know, at the same time, we're not doing ourselves any favors by going off and being nasty and snarky to those that are doing that. I'm not sure exactly how that plays out, but the event seemed to touch a note in a lot of folks that otherwise didn't have the right tune.
You know, a lot of people on the left would consider themselves or label themselves as patriotic Americans. They fly the flag and so on. And I think that most people in America realize and recognize that it's wrong to have an attempted assassination of the president, whether you like the president or former president, whether you like him or political candidate for office, whether you like him or not. It's just downright wrong, and they know it.
It's not American. And there's something else in your comment, and that is that there's Americans that live on both sides of the fence, and they're Americans first before party. And I think at the end of the day, that's the disservice that our two-party system does, is it inherently creates division, because we all know that here in America, we love our sports, and it's my team or your team. It's never both teams together. So we're kind of pre-wired to do the division thing just based on party alone. And you have to kind of figure that, rationally speaking, when you see crazy people behaving on the left, does that represent all Democrats? I don't think that's logical. I think somebody said it. If you believe that your side is perfect and the other side is evil, all exclusively, that's irrational. That can't possibly be. We're talking about human beings. We're not perfect on either side.
I think it's a matter of indoctrination, because to what Maurice is saying, it's already started and we can all see it. Amber Rose, the influencer, pop star and all, she admitted that her Caucasian father told her, said, "You're wrong, do some research," you know. And she did some research and she was shocked.
Yep.
And now she's a big advocate for Trump. Just before I came up here, I saw an interview with Mark Zuckerberg. They asked him about the assassination. Of course, he talked about the iconic fist pump or whatever, and said it was one of the most badass things he's ever seen. It made him proud to be an American. And he said he's not endorsing anybody and he's not spending any money in this election. Now, if he had not spent any money in the 2020 election, we wouldn't have the president we have right now. So I think Maurice is exactly right. There was an elderly black lady on YouTube a couple days ago saying that she watched the Republican committee for the first time in her life, and it brought her to tears. And it was just such a relief to realize that the Republicans and conservatives are not the monsters they've been portrayed as. But I blame a lot of this on the media, because a lot of these people only watch certain stations, and they're now starting to look at other sources. And if you look at the media landscape, the so-called legacy media, they're falling apart. If they weren't being subsidized by leftist billionaires, they'd already be under. They're bleeding red, they're laying off people. And the alternative media is soaring. I think Real America's Voice now has blown past Fox. And you can see it. Fox's ratings went down when they started moving leftward.
Yeah.
So I think this is more, and what Maurice said about the political parties, that wasn't meant to be that way. Most of our founders opposed the two-party system, most notably George Washington. Yeah. So I think all of a sudden we're looking at each other and saying we've all been sold a bill of goods, the left and the right. And it's because, see, on the right, we automatically hear their talking points because our media reports both sides. You have to understand, like the Charlottesville hoax and the call of the military chumps and whatever, that was all made up.
100%.
And if the media had not been complicit, this could have been exposed long ago. And a lot of these liberals are waking up, and the ones that are sincere, and there are plenty of them, are embarrassed.
Absolutely.
So I think this is going to be, I'm not going to say like Reagan 84, but at least like Reagan 80, there are a lot of people that are, woke up and smelled the coffee, and they're not happy at the people that lied about them.
You know, kind of on the parties thing, it's difficult to separate the wheat from the chaff. When we look back at the Unselect Committee, there was what we call rhinos, and the rhinos seem to be larger in number than we may have originally estimated. But so we've got this entity, this collection of people that are very powerful, and they fly under the flag currently of the Democrat Party. And so we were just paying attention to somebody on the way in, pointing out that the Democrats had a primary. They voted for Joe Biden. And now the powers that be, mostly the media, is trying to push him out and disenfranchise their own party's voters. Which is kind of an amazing thing when you think about it. That's completely true. The people voted for him, and yet people with a small group of people with their own personal interests at heart are trying to override the vote of the people. Now that ought to offend us just as much as it should offend Democrats. The question is are the Democrats even aware that this is actually happening to them? The Democrat vote meant nothing.
Have a mini primary, they said.
Yeah, really great point, Maurice. I don't know if people are really following it, but I think they're starting to pay more attention. And something that John talked about, which was the indoctrination. So I ran across a post from Robbie Starbuck. Does that name sound familiar to you? There's a film called The War on Children. What's this film about? There's a war on our children right now. Far-left activists will stop at nothing to indoctrinate them, sexualize them, guilt them, and punish them until they submit to their woke religion. For too long, the dots haven't been connected to expose their battle plan. This film exposes everything. I gotta say, I only watched the preview, and it's a little hard to watch in a way. This shines a light directly on all of this craziness that was going on with the drag shows and the parades and you know what kids are exposed to in school, you know, but I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna make time this weekend to watch it. Said it was very hard to watch at times, but it's a must-see if you want to know what they're doing to our children in this country, because it's called The War on Children, Robbie Starbuck. And it rings true to what you said. If you get the children, if you indoctrinate the children and they go, well, we don't know anything about history, we don't care about history, history's bad, history's wrong, all that's wrong, everything's before is wrong, our parents are wrong, everybody's wrong. We're right because we're listening to what the teacher with the freaky hair and nose rings is telling us, you know. So War on Children, check it out. Another thing, NPR. I always talk about National Public Radio. I go and I look at that every Friday, and I print out the most recent updates as far as the number of prisoners arrested, and I swear I brought it. I don't know where it is. There were 3 more that were arrested this last week. That's not it. I don't know where it is. This one individual, I said, well, I'm just going to go ahead and print out the charging documents and take a look at it. So this person, I've got to find Ronald Schultz, Ronnie Schultz, aka Ronnie, aka Ron, aka Pops, aka Old Man. So since nobody's calling, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. But this is the charging documents, the complaint. If you go, you can do it also through the DOJ. You can maybe get through the Patriot Mail Project. I know a lot of people go to Patriot Mail Project. But what I like about this, they give you a photograph, if they have one, a little back, the actual charging documents and updates. So you can go in and look at it, and you pull up these Department of Justice. This is called the complaint with arrest warrant. It starts out with a statement of facts. They all start out with this first page and a half of the same propaganda. So I'm going to read it to you all. And they redact certain things like the name of the individual that put this all together. Your affiant, and it's blacked out, is a special agent assigned to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. In my duties as an FBI special agent, I investigate potential violations of federal law, including but not limited to matters concerning the national security of the United States of America. Currently, I am tasked with investigating criminal activity in and around the Capitol grounds on January 6, 2021. As a special agent, I am authorized by law or by government agency to engage in or supervise the prevention, detection, investigation, or prosecution of a violation of federal criminal laws. The facts in this affidavit come from my personal observation, my training and experience, and information obtained from other agents, witnesses, and agencies, or is based on review of various documents, records, and reports. That's a loaded statement. Because this affidavit is submitted for the limited purpose of establishing probable cause, it does not contain every fact known by me or the FBI. The dates and times listed in this affidavit should be read as on or about. Background. Events at the U.S. Capitol on January 6, 2021. The U.S. Capitol is secured 24 hours a day by U.S. Capitol Police. Restrictions around the U.S. Capitol include permanent and temporary security barriers and posts manned by the U.S. Capitol Police. Only authorized people with appropriate identification were allowed access inside the U.S. Capitol. On January 6, 2021, the exterior plaza of the U.S. Capitol was also closed to members of the public. Very interesting details here, folks. I mean, this is the whole crux of people not knowing whether they were trespassing or not. Continuing. On January 6, 2021, a joint session of the United States Congress convened at the United States Capitol, which is located at 1st Street Southeast in Washington, D.C. During the joint session, elected members of the United States House of Representatives and the United States Senate were meeting in the United States Capitol to certify the vote count of the Electoral College of the 2020 presidential election, which had taken place on November 3rd, 2020. The joint session began at approximately 1 o'clock. Shortly thereafter, by approximately 1:30 p.m., the House and Senate adjourned to separate chambers to resolve a particular objection. Vice President Mike Pence was present and presiding, first in the joint session and then in the Senate chamber. As the proceedings continued in both the House and the Senate, and with Vice President Mike Pence present and presiding over the Senate, a large crowd gathered outside the U.S. Capitol. As noted above, temporary and permanent barricades were in place around the exterior of the U.S. Capitol building, and the U.S. Capitol Police were present and attempting to keep the crowd away from the Capitol building and the proceedings underway inside. At such time, the certification proceedings were still underway, and the exterior doors and windows of the U.S. Capitol were locked or otherwise secured. Members of the U.S. Capitol Police attempted to maintain order and keep the crowd from entering the Capitol. However, around 2 p.m., individuals in the crowd forced entry into the U.S. Capitol, including by breaking windows and by assaulting members of the U.S. Capitol Police, as others in the crowd encouraged and assisted those acts. Shortly thereafter, at approximately 2:20 p.m., members of the United States House of Representatives and United States Senate, including the President of the Senate, Vice President Mike Pence, were instructed to and did evacuate the chambers. I'm going to pause there. 2:20 p.m. Tariq Johnson was the person who took it on himself to evacuate the chambers. Just keep that in mind, folks. Not with orders from above. He just did it because he saw what was happening and they needed to get him out of there. So, according to the joint session of the United States Congress was effectively suspended until shortly after 8 p.m. Vice President Pence remained in the United States Capitol from the time he was evacuated from the Senate chamber until the sessions resumed. During national news coverage of the aforementioned events, video footage which appeared to be captured on mobile devices of persons present on the scene depicted evidence of violations of local and federal law, including scores of individuals inside the U.S. Capitol building without authority to be there. Now, thank you for bearing with me for reading that, but I'm telling you that page and a half is on every single charging document. Starts out with the heading, Statement of Facts. But it's clearly clearly one-sided and clearly is trying to paint a picture of the lead up to the events of that day.
It was almost impossible. While you were reading that, you got to one point there and saying, and it says, these are not all of the facts. And the first thing that went through my head is cherry picking.
Yeah.
Are we taking things that actually happened and maybe putting them out of order just a little bit so that it looks one way and not the other?
And some stated facts are not factual.
Oh, that's, yes, exactly correct.
I can give you a couple examples. I've made a couple notes here. Well, I'll be quiet. We got a call coming in.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $23.20. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, good evening, Northern Neck Patriots.
Hey there, how you doing? This is Cheryl.
I'm doing good, Cheryl. It's everybody out there listening. Hi, Mom. This is Dominic Box calling you now from C3D.
Yes, I've
But
heard.
still, in cell number 1, we've moved units.
Yeah, now you could see the vigil going on in DC, huh?
Absolutely, we can. If we strain our necks and the moon and the stars are working just right, no, we can see them a little bit, which is definitely a nice change from where we were, and it's a little bit different. We've had some good guys that have headed off to prison over the last couple of weeks, and it's we kind of talked about this a little bit last time. It's strange to now be in here, and some of the guys I'm closest with have their sentencing one of them next week, and a couple all within the next 3 weeks. But there's still a lot of really good guys in here, a good group of men, and we've all kind of worked together to make this new unit. Even though it was directly across from where we were, we got really comfortable with where we were. Things were clean. We knew where the water fountains were. We knew what outlets worked for charging different things, and it feels a little bit different, but we're making things feel like home in here, and to know that you guys are still out there, and the DC Vigil and people around the world still carrying our message, and keeping a focus on the fight that we're all engaged in, it means the world to us.
Well, that's great. How many of you, is it still the general same number of folks, or is it?
It's actually, it's dwindled a little bit. It's actually, I think it's the lowest that I've ever seen it in here. So I'm one of the people that helps out with, getting the lunch and dinner trays. I think our count now, we're losing another guy tomorrow. I think the count at present is 22. It could be as low as 21. But from what I've been hearing, they're still arresting people every day for something that happened over 3.5 years ago. And as I've seen, it's pretty bizarre, but as soon as people leave, they still continue to keep bringing more people in. And, and on the one hand, I'm glad that, we have the brotherhood that we do, and the network of support, and, really truth on our side. But ultimately, it is, it's tough because you get so close to these men, and I know over on the women's side, and, they have a similar experience, but like the guy, John Todd, we expect him to be leaving tomorrow. We break bread with these men, we work out with these men, we laugh, we cry, you get to know them and their story, and it's so counter to the things that, we read about, and, it's not, just what the news says about the people in here. It's, I truly wish that the average American, I don't want anybody to go to jail or prison that doesn't deserve to, but, if the people could see what it's like with a room full of these quote-unquote domestic terrorists and radical extremists, they find that, they're really good men, and it's hard. My buddy, Curtis Logan Tate, left very unexpectedly just the other day, and he's somebody that, he left us a really nice card, but these men, and guys like Wagland, who you wrote extensively about, and I wanted to say thank you. I got the the copy of the June Sentinel, there's these guys that have just played a pivotal and crucial role in creating the atmosphere and the experience that we have in here. And it's, you know, you kind of have an idea, obviously, after sentencing, if you're not going home and you're leaving, eventually you're going to leave. But there's really no rhyme or reason to this whole federal process. You know, that John Todd was sentenced almost 2 months ago, and he's still here, whereas Curtis Tate was sentenced, I think like a week, maybe a week and a half ago.
Right.
And he's already gone. I saw Billy Cressman and Kenneth Bonowitz and Reed Cressman get sentenced, and 4 days later they're gone. And then, you know, it's tough because it's tough on us, it's tough on our families outside of the walls, and it's tough on, you know, the men in here, because they're really, you know, a lot of the guys, you know, we put on tough faces and, you know, we hold our heads high, but it's just, there's this unknown. You know, we know typically we're going to Philadelphia when we leave here if we're not going home, but you don't know where you're going. Your family doesn't know where you're going to end up. And we get so familiar with the process and hear how to make phone calls, how to get in touch with people, how to get mail out. And then you have something like today where a quote-unquote global IT crisis happens, and people whose family are coming in to visit from Florida, from South Carolina, and other places, we're just denied visits. And it's just, you know, I'm not going to make the claim or even suggest that I'm institutionalized by any means, because I've been now incarcerated for almost a year. You get comfortable and familiar with this process, and I wish and pray that you know, we all got to go home, and I genuinely believe that come January that's going to happen. But it's still, you know, it is sad to see you know, the men that I've gotten so close to leave, but you know, on some level I know they're excited to, you know, the process must continue. It's something my grandma and older Nana always used to tell me is, you know, it's okay to be sad or even mad about a situation for a little while, but ultimately you have to make an action. You have to, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and keep walking. But I did want to share an incredible moment that we had with you all. In the middle of, you know, we all know Curtis Tate was about to leave, and he challenged us to a 1,000 burpee challenge. Which, if you don't know what a burpee is, to those of you out there, you're standing up, you drop down, you do one push-up, you jump back up, and then you typically, you know, you jump or do a jumping jack. 1,000 of these things. I've never done more than 300 in my life, but we said, you know what, this is somebody who's helped transform our bodies, shape us, our minds. He was such a good influence and positive force. And so about 8 or 9 of us got together and said, you know what, brother, we're doing this with you. We all prayed together. And right in the middle of it, I think I was at like 340, we see everybody run into the TV room. So I run, we all think it's about to be the vice president selection. And unfortunately, what we watched live was President Trump take a bullet in his ear. We didn't know what happened. We just saw him drop down, and people started screaming. And I mean, you know, we all grabbed each other. Nobody was saying a word. People started crying. I mean, it was an extremely emotional moment. But when we saw that fist come up, when I tell you, the entire room erupted. I mean, it sounded like a lion roaring in that TV room. You know, we put holes in the wall. A light fixture was broken, but I've never seen a moment like that in here. I hope, you know, I'm a child, or as a child, you know, I was in 6th grade. I witnessed 9/11, but that was so detached. That was so far away from me. But to watch our president, to watch somebody that we've all, you know, come to love and support, and you know, just who's done so much for us in a country, you know, in that moment where we didn't know if he was going to live or die. And to see that fist come up and know that he was going to be okay, and hear him tell us to fight, it really re-energized the entire pod. And it was something that I wish the rest of the world could have seen, because it was truly beautiful. And to see him at the RNC last night was incredible. You know, we're all reinvigorated. You know, it can get tough sometimes, you know, because there's a monotony that comes with being incarcerated, and we hear so many things. Oh, you know, you're going to be out by Christmas, you're going to be out by Thanksgiving, you're going to get pardoned on day one, and this and that. But ultimately, all that went away in a moment, and we were just praying silently for President Trump to be okay. And when he showed us that he was, and when he walked out on that stage yesterday, and he spoke like somebody who isn't going to be president, is already the president, is a true leader, is somebody, you know, compared to the other guy, not even going to say his name, that was what a leader looks like. That is what America needs, and I look forward to, even though, you know, I still not gotten a verdict yet, but coincidentally in D.C., even if you're a felon, you can still vote in the election. So I look forward to casting my vote for a third time for President Donald J. Trump and watching him take back the White House like he deserves. So I know I kind of ranted a little bit, but I wanted to ask you guys, what's the vibe in the Northern Neck area? What do you guys think is going to happen with Joe Biden? Is he staying in the race? Is he going to leave? What's going on?
I'll let John Haynes take that one. We'll put the pressure up. Yeah, you can just go ahead, John.
We all have our own opinion.
Yeah, Dominic, this is John Haynes with the Northern Neck Sentinel. How are you?
John, I wanted to tell you, I loved your article about them getting a dose of their own medicine. Your article in the June, your opening article was fantastic. But please, don't let me interrupt.
Well, I think the supply of medicine is still coming. And you were asking about the reaction here. Within a day, they had a huge sign up on a major highway nearby of the iconic picture of Trump with his fist raised. And they've started selling them throughout the area. They're putting them up on billboards. And obviously, it's going to be an iconic image going forward in American history. But I can just tell you, everywhere I go when we're doing deliveries, the public is just energized. And we get a lot of questions about you guys, and there's a lot of support for you guys. And the current issue, I know you haven't seen the July issue yet, but we have two J6-oriented articles, one about Robert Morse. I don't know if you know Robert, but he's one of the
familiar with him.
Yeah, one of the leading voices. And then I have another article called "Paying the Price for Our Freedom," and in the at the top of the article is a picture of Steve Bannon, Pina Navarro, and Tommy Tatum. And the gist of it is, all three of these men knew that they would be sacrificing their freedom, but they spoke out anyway. And there are so many of you that are like that, Dominic. And I just want you to know that everybody I talk to respects you guys, they appreciate you guys, and they're just cheering for you as hard as they can. And I include myself among them.
Well, thank you very much, guys. It's you know, it's like I've said before, and I'm sure the prosecutors will bring this up, but you know, it's not fun to be in jail, but it's an honor to be a part of this. You know, we call it the J6 fraternity, this J6 family. It's going to be for a greater purpose. And so many men have already sacrificed so much and given up not just their freedom, but their homes, their jobs. Their families have been disturbed. Their reputations have been tarnished. But I can speak for the men in here. We all know that these wrongs will be righted. And when President Trump put his fist up, we put our fists up with him, and we're all going to continue to fight. And it's an honor. It's an honor to be here. I did want to say also that I know. I don't know everybody that was there at Northern Neck. I wasn't one of those individuals, and I think maybe that was probably a good thing because I know it took a lot of work on your behalf and the men in there. But I know James Grant, one of the men that was one of my best friends in here, somebody I played basketball with as frequently as I can, not every day because they're still denying us rec. But he has sentencing coming up on the first week of August. I want to say it's August 7th or 8th.
August 8th.
For those of you out there, August 8th. So, you know, to those of you that know James Grant and his story, he's an incredible guy. He should be finishing up his third year of law school, and instead he's now in his third year of incarceration. So I just wanted to get that out. I've asked him to speak tonight. I think he's going to do that. But it's just, you know, even if you don't know some of the names and the people that are in here, I would encourage you guys, you know, those, not you guys, I know the Northern Neck Patriots are familiar with us, but anybody out there listening, there's different websites where you can familiarize yourself with those of us that are in here. And we rely on you guys for so much, you know, whether it's letters of encouragement, funny pictures of your cats just hanging on, sending us books, putting stuff on commissary. It really helps because, you know, our families have suffered so much, and just knowing that you guys are out there, it both helps us, but it helps them as well. And I would say, you know, I don't want to show preferential Street Visits Any website, but they're different organizations, they're different websites that you can see used in here, and there are a lot of new faces, and you know they love the letters, they love the support just as much as I do.
You have 1 minute remaining.
They're going to cut me off, so I wanted to say thank you, Cheryl, or I believe it was Cheryl, for sending me 2 copies of the Northern Neck Sentinel. I've passed it around. I've got my one copy. Actually, keep one of every copy that you guys have sent, but I get it out to the rest of the guys to read. Keep doing what you're doing, and if anybody would like to get to know me more, please check out Rumble, Chatham Free Press, CHATHAM Free Press. My GiveSendGo is givesendgo.com/freedomj6. I'm on True Social at NotDomBox, same on Instagram, and on X, Dom Free Press. Guys, I look forward to talking to you again. Thank you for everything you do. God bless America, and let's all fight.
Fight.
Trump and America. God bless you guys.
God bless you.
too.
Bye.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Nice.
Boy, I get credit for everything.
There's people on the Sentinel mailing list, and that's
Yeah.
that's what it. I wanted to ask. I should have asked him when did he get it, because that would be interesting to know. So, all right.
Before the call came in, we were talking about the statement Tom had read, and some of the statements made in that statement. In reference to Tariq Johnson, he is the one that orchestrated trying to get all of the people out of there. Some of you remember him as the policeman wearing the MAGA hat, the red MAGA hat. And what the FBI forgot to say in their statement is that Mr. Johnson had requested several times for permission to evacuate. And it appears that they intentionally delayed it, hoping for a confrontation. Same technique they're using in the lax security. Also, they're talking about going past barriers. Quite a few barriers and an extensive amount of fencing was removed before the people got there by some mysterious people. We have very legible photographs of what they look like, but they just can't figure out who they were. I can figure out who they were. Also, I'm sure a lot of you have seen pictures of the policemen waving people in, fist bumping them as they came by, making small talk. So anyway.
It must be James.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Josh.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or your current balance is $21.88. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hello?
Hi there, this is Cheryl from Northern Neck. Who do we have here?
Hey, Cheryl, how are you?
This is Josh.
Yeah, this is Josh Atwood.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Good. Glad to hear your voice.
Hey, yeah, same with you. I was just reading I think June Centennial from Northern Neck, and I didn't realize that during Quaglin's sentencing, or what I think it was Mickey's the anniversary for Ashley's death. You went and you camped out overnight, so no agitators, nobody could take the spot.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad actually, but there was a whole group of us, and we took 2-hour shifts. And sometimes people would just hang around halfway into the next shift or whatever. It was good, and there was really no problems. But yeah, there's a little bit of a turf war down there. You know, when the haters try to keep Mickey and Nicole and Tammy and the rest from getting their prime spot there for the vigil. So yeah, but I'm glad you got to see that.
Yeah, I wanted to say thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That means a lot to me that you're willing to sacrifice your time, and I'm sure being out there in the evening in this community here, I've heard some pretty bad stuff, so it sounds like it could be a rough neighborhood, and I just appreciate you putting yourself in harm's way for the
the cause.
Well, no worries. If it's a good cause, you know, and shining a light for what you guys are going through is what we're all about, and that's why we've been doing this vigil Friday nights we're coming up on a year and 3/4. I think October is our 2-year event, and the DC Vigil, who does it every night, their anniversary I think is August 1st, and so they're coming.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for their 2nd anniversary on August 1st, but yeah, they're going to actually celebrate that on the Saturday following. So yeah, I plan to be there for that too. Big deal.
Yeah, that's a lot of Fridays you guys have been doing that for.
Yeah, it sure is. But you know, we're here because guess what? We have a choice to be here with, you know, supporting you guys. You guys don't have a choice, but all we're doing is giving you an opportunity to get your word out there, Josh. So this is your time.
Yeah, it's a blessing. I really, I don't know, I try not to like talk too much, and I don't want to make things worse on myself. I try to stay neutral and whatnot. I had my first plea deal offered to me. They basically wanted me to take a couple of felonies, and they wanted to give me 5 to 6.5 years. And that just sounds like a lot of time, and I've been having a lot of confliction in my heart lately with, I was thinking about, you know, whatever deal happens, you know, because I see the way that the trials have been going about, but, you know, after seeing, you know, Trump be shot at and how God protected him and kept him safe, and I'm sorry that the other people, you know, another man passed away and got, you know, people had gotten hurt. You know, after seeing that, I've been wondering, you know, why I'm in here and why everything's going on, and I'm like, man, this is just a way for me to get closer to God, and a way for me to build my faith, and not only build it but test it. And I've really been thinking that, like, with me praying every night and with everything that I've been seeing, you know, I've been asking for God to, you know, show me the way and take this from me and put me back with my family. And I had that plea offer, and I'm like, man, you know, it's that amount of time is better than 10, 15 years or whatever it could be. And I'm like, you know, I want to get home to my family, but at the same time, if I take that deal, then it's kind of like having a backup plan, and it's kind of like not having 100% faith in God for Him to deliver me from this. And I've been having a lot of confliction. I've been going back and forth. You know, I want to be home. I want to take care of my babies. I want to make sure that my family's taken care of. But in all reality, like, God's going to provide that for my family, and He has ever since I've been in here. You know, all the bills have been getting paid, and in reality, my family hasn't wanted or needed anything other than me to be home. And so now I'm like going back and forth, and I'm thinking about everything, and I'm not so sure it'd be the best thing to take a deal. I think I should just let everything play out the way that God has a plan, and whatever that may be, just go with it.
Wow, that's a very, very interesting conundrum. You know, because I get it. You want to get home as quickly as you can, and I think that's part of the whole plea offer, right? And you know, I've heard others talk about it. Quaglin used to talk about it all the time. They wanted him to plea and cooperate and report on other people to get a reduced sentence. And of course, you saw his reaction and what he said, which was hell no. So yeah, it's a personal decision for you, but I like where your head's at and where you're kind of stopping and thinking about it, and you're looking at it from bigger picture maybe. So you'll make the right choice, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know if, like, you know, how your religion is, or, you know, whatever, how you believe or anything like that. But I feel like this, you know, a test of all of that, and like, I'm willing to put it in His hands 100%. If if I take that plea deal, I just feel like well, if this doesn't work out, then this is the backup plan. And I just know within my heart and with everything that I've asked, Trump's getting elected. God didn't save him and protect him, because he didn't have plans for him. I think he's got big plans,
Yeah.
To help our country. And then if our country's doing good, other countries are doing good. And I don't know. I believe everything's going to be okay, no matter what I do or whatever happens. And I feel like me taking a plea deal and all that is kind of like saying, well, if this doesn't work out, then it's like a backup plan. I don't know. I haven't talked about this. It's just something that's been going on in my head. And
Yeah.
I'm kind of just now venting through it.
No, that's cool. I'm glad you're sharing it with us as you're working through it. You said something that caught my interest too. You said the whole world is counting on this, and that's really true. Everybody's eyes are on this event here, and a lot of nations look at America and the United States and say, we hope that you can stop what they're trying to do to us, what they've already done to us and the rest of the world. They're looking to us to be the ones to stop it. So that's a big challenge, but I think we're up to it, and I know we are.
Yeah, everything that I've ever done is for a reason, and I'm a very unselfish person, and everything I've ever done was for the better good of my family, my country, my friends, everybody I've ever known. And just like in here, they've moved us into another pod, and it's absolutely disgusting and filthy, and we've been cleaning, and it's coming along. And I've spent days now cleaning I do heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration, so I've been paying attention to all the air returns, the highs and the lows, and they're caked with dust and dirt, and the air hasn't been moving well. And I had made makeshift, I took a broom and I took all the broomstick handles from the push brooms, and I made some cordage, and I wrapped up this, if you guys could just only see it, I wrapped up a bunch of sticks on the broom, and then made it to where I could reach this giant return air vent up on the ceiling. And I was able to get it all clean, and I cleaned the lower vents, and it's starting to cool off in here, and it's not as sticky. It's like the humidity gets pulled out with the air conditioning. And I've been cleaning the fans, then our water fountain, the cold water, it wasn't like getting real cold, and I started to notice the condenser was full of lint and dirt. I sprayed it all out with, I unplugged it and then sprayed the condenser out and brushed it with a brush and dried it out with a fan, and now we got nice cold water. And I've been going around, and the people that were in here, I guess they were making fires to, I don't know, do drugs or whatever. I haven't seen anybody in our unit, try to make fires or anything like that, but all the plugs are burnt up, and half of them, on the receptacle, half of them don't work and whatnot. And I was able to get maintenance to finally come in, and he didn't seem too happy, but I walked him through all the receptacles, showed him which ones we need replaced. Our plugs on our fans were messed up, and I've been trying to get those replaced just so that way we can have good circulation and a comfortable environment for what it is. And
Wow.
I've been just everything I've been trying to do is just to help everybody out. And I cleaned my room, but I still need to do a lot more cleaning, but I've just been so busy with all that.
That's a lot.
What was the reason they moved you from one side of the building to the other?
Well, that gets me into my job tomorrow. So they remodeled the block showers, and they lined them with stainless steel and put new handles and sprayers on them. And so ours was getting like a little, I guess, I don't know, moldy or whatever in the other building, but it was still taken care of pretty well because they clean them every night and during lunchtime or 2:30, 3 o'clock, whatever time it is. They'll go through, they clean them, and then they clean them again in the evening. But what they did was they lined the pod next to us because it was empty, and once showers that was in our other unit, but they're just going to leave us in this pod instead of having us move back and forth. But they took, and these are supposed to be 2-inch P-traps underneath the showers, and they have like a scutcheon that they laid over it, and it's like 1.5 inches, and it has tiny little perforated stainless steel covers. And the P-traps from the people, like the stairs had like giant, like 2-inch cloths of like dust and dirt hanging underneath them. They're like steel grate stairs, so you can see through them. And like it looked like something out of a cave. And but that just kind of shows how well they cleaned the pods. So now we're in these showers and they don't want to drain well. And then on top of that, I think all the P-traps, like, because we try not to pee in the showers or do any of that stuff. Whoever was here before, like, never cleaned the showers. So tomorrow, what my plan is I'm going to try to put some degreaser in a bucket, and our mop sink water gets really hot. And I'm going to try to flush all those P-traps out, so that way they don't have a stench, in the air coming from the showers.
Wow.
But that was the reason why they moved us, is to update the showers.
Wow.
And before we even moved over here, I was one of the lucky ones to get picked, where we went through and sprayed all the windows, got all the crap off the windows, and started to try to clean the trash out of the rooms. And it was a really big downgrade for them to bring it over into this pod, with how half of the electric plugs aren't working, the TVs, none of them had remotes, but we was able to go and take the TVs down and bring them over into here. And the furniture, like the chairs and stuff that they have that set in the day room, were so gross you probably could have cleaned them, but all of us, we had decided that it was better off. We pushed all the chairs back over into the...
You have 1 minute remaining.
Then we brought all of our chairs over to here, because like everybody cleans so well. It's a big group effort to keep everything clean.
Wow.
I wish we had more time. I have a lot to talk to you guys about, a bunch of cute stories about the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you get out, I could use you at my house.
I enjoyed staying busy, and I love helping people, and that was one of my things about the business that I worked, is I get to travel around, I get to see new people, be in a new environment, I get to help people fix their things, and then on top of it, I make good money and I provide for my family. So it's like a win-win-win all the way around, and it's a very fulfilling job, fixing furnaces, air conditioners, and coolers, and plumbing issues.
Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Well, bye.
All right, Josh Atwood. Yeah, that was a really great conversation. He's funny. I could believe that much work, but I can imagine him looking up as an HVAC mechanic,
Right.
looking up at those grills and going, that's why things aren't working. So we got to fix that.
I mean, just looking in this place over here, they clean it in the roof. All the, the water on the floor and everything,
Wow.
Here.
What's the matter?
I know, that's what I'm trying to
You know what it sounds like to me? That they had their own pod in great shape, had it all cleaned up. I'm sure these prison fellows said, these guys do a good job. We'll just keep transferring them around to the filthy areas. Once they get them cleaned out, we'll transfer them again. So, anyway, I think Josh Atwood's a good example of all these hardened criminals that are in there. Unbelievable. You want me to fill some time?
Yeah, sure. I will get back to that other thing in a bit.
But you can tell I'm just here to fill time with generally useless information. But while we're on that subject, I'm going to go to Maurice's favorite topic, the Chevron doctrine.
Yes.
Because there is a lot of confusion about it, mainly because of bad reporting. But people in general, I think, understand that this takes away the assumption that the so-called experts are correct and requires that there be actual empirical proof provided. And just a couple major examples of how this could work. One big one would be the Title IX requirements that have been altered to allow transgenders to play on women's sports team, men and women's sports, and all this transgender madness. Well, they weren't allowed to examine this scientifically, and I've got a little background in this. I studied psychology for a while in college. Back then, over 50 years ago, we were smart enough to know gender dysphoria. Only 0.03% of the population was ever diagnosed with that, and the vast majority of them self-resolved over time as they got older. So anyway, scientifically, the basis for this was completely made up, completely manufactured.
Finish the story.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is... This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hi, this is Cheryl from Northern Neck. Who do we have?
Hey Cheryl, what's going on? This is Greg from Patriots Corner. What's going on?
Hi, Greg.
Greg who?
Purdy.
Say it again.
Nice to meet you guys. I've been seeing been hearing a lot of great things about you guys. How are you?
This is the first time you're calling over here.
Yes, it is. Normally I call to Mitchell, but they have me call Northern next tonight. Want to hear your guys' voices, so you thanks so much for what you're doing.
Well, Greg, thanks for calling. This is Tom. So your last name is Purdy, right? P-U-R-D-Y?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, you too. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and whatever you want.
Yeah, sure. Well, I'm from New York. I've got two brothers. Dad's still around. Mom just recently passed away, but she's watching over us. My brothers and I are in the real estate industry, and we all work together for the most part. I had always loved my country since I was a kid. My dad instilled great, and my mom instilled great values within us to, love your country, love your neighbor. I'm just hoping that America can come out on the good end of things and keep the American dream alive. That's what I'm hoping and praying for every day, just like you guys.
Great. Yeah. What part of New York?
About an hour north of New York City.
Okay. What's that? You're from New York.
I'm from New York. I'm from Queens. I'm from the city. But we're from Albany or someplace up there? Rochester?
It's like the Hopewell Junction, which is about kind of like Farmville, New York, a little north of Westchester.
Okay. Yeah, I'm from Queens, the big old city of Queens. Right by Rikers Island.
That's why she talks like Trump.
Yeah, that's why I talk like Trump. You can't understand my accent.
Right? You have to visit Trump. Hopefully he doesn't go there, but if he does, definitely should visit him.
Yeah, well, I'm out of there now, but I left when I was like 20.
Oh, wow. The Queens School is so diverse. I heard it's the most diverse of places in the U.S. I think over, on average, each part of it has 150 languages that are spoken between all different cultures. Some crazy facts like that, I forget, but Queens is definitely different.
Yeah. Well, listen, Greg, so you heard Cheryl's voice, and this is Tom, and then her husband Maurice is here tonight. Say hello, Maurice.
Hello, how you doing?
Hey, Maurice, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
And then also
Nice to meet you.
we have John Haynes, who's the editor of the Northern Neck Sentinel here tonight.
What's going on, John?
Hey,
Thanks for
Greg.
coming on.
Greg, nice to meet you for the first time.
Nice to meet you too. What did you guys think of the RNC the past couple days? What are some highs and lows? What did you guys take away from it?
We loved last night. We all stayed up past our bedtime to listen to President Trump, talk, and he was awesome.
I think, one of the low points was the response on social media after, what was that gal's name that spoke?
Not the owl.
Was it the first day, Amber Rose?
Yeah, Amber Rose, thank you. The response to that on social media was some of the worst human behavior I've ever seen.
Which is why I don't go on social media.
So Amber Rose, fill me in on who that is.
She's the one that John was talking about earlier. She's the one who converted because her white father was saying, you're wrong, and if you don't believe me, prove me wrong by doing some research. And she said, okay, I will. And she ended up finding out that he was right, and for her a personally painful way. So she kind of converted on the spot. But there was a bunch of people from our team, right, that were rejecting her simply because of her past life. And they were doing it with some really ugly words. And I kind of thought that was a little bit disheartening, but that has nothing to do with the RNC itself. Just
You know what? Sometimes it's human nature, to want to demonize people. I think we have to move away from that, and even when it's on, whether it's their side or our side or whatever side somebody's on, right? Size is the enemy to begin with. We're all Americans. We're all people. We're all on the same side because we all want this country to do better. Different people have different opinions. Different people might be, not informed the right way. And we can't ostracize or push out people who end up, changing their mind and push them away because of their past, and that I'll call out anybody, on the Trump side, that's calling out Amber Rose because of her past. She has every right as an American, just like all of us, to form her opinion and not be pushed out because of whatever her past is.
right. An epiphany is an
We're really gonna
epiphany.
be more unifying in that sense,
You're right, and I think that the message here is we have to be open arms, have at least be open to people that are finally waking up to what's been going on, because that's happening more and more.
And I would add to that something a little bit grounding, and that is we also need to remember to use our discernment, because there is still
Right.
the notion of a sheep or a wolf in sheep's clothing that could also be doing the same thing. So it's difficult. It's certainly difficult, but I agree with Tom. We need to be a little bit less judgmental, a lot less judgmental.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think if everybody was a little less judgmental, and everybody was slow to anger, and quicker to seek commonalities, try to come together, we'd be a lot better off and a lot further off. And it's tough. You've got the media, you've got, different forces behind the curtains that they want to divide us, they want to, see people fight, but that's not the way. We got to unite.
Civil, yes,
Yep.
absolutely.
So how long have you been in DC, and what's the status with you and sentencing, trial, all of that?
I've been here almost for 2 months now, about a month and a half.
Okay.
And looking at sentencing in late October. Depends on a couple factors, though. It might get pushed into November or December. I'm happy with. I'm happy with the way things are going here in the jail. Getting along with everybody. There's good people here. Aside of that, just doing some time, just waiting to move on to the next step.
Yeah, we heard a little bit about the job you have now with this new pod, trying to get it up to standard. So it sounds like you all have been busy with that.
Yeah, they moved us 2 days ago over to DuPont. It was disgusting. I mean, there was dirt every single square inch. I was so surprised to see how dirty it was. Took us the past 3 days really to clean it up. They sent us in a day early. But now it's pretty much up to snuff. Just need a good painting and we'll be back in the groove.
Good, that's good. Well, I mean, you guys have the moxie and the initiative to go do it, whereas other people would have just went in and just settled into it probably. I don't know, but I'm glad to hear that you guys are making it livable.
Yeah, a lot of the guys really have pride in where they live and sleep and pride in themselves. You know, everybody's on the positive right now. Most people are on the up and up and want to make sure, you know, that wherever they go, they're improving things. So, you know,
Good.
people, they like to make out the J-Sexers like they're bad people, but I'd say most of them are very, very good people.
So did you watch any of the RNC and did you watch the events on last Saturday? Did you get to see that? Some of the guys apparently were watching that.
Yeah, we were doing a 1,000 burpees workout challenge. I had never done 1,000 in my life. When the guy said that, instant adrenaline went through. I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, are we serious? But we did it. We completed it, and at about like 600 something, somebody comes out and they say, oh my gosh, you know, somebody's assassinated Trump, or somebody tried to assassinate. All we heard was assassinate, and we're like, oh my god. And we ran into the little TV room, and we don't see Trump behind the podium. And we're like, oh my gosh. And everybody just had a moment of silence there. You could feel the tension in the room. We're praying. We're hoping our president's okay. So emotional, very emotional. Few seconds there before he got up and he raised his hand and pumped his fist into the air, and we were like, he's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
The USA chant. I mean, we were so happy to see that he was okay.
Yeah,
That's-
we stopped everything also. When Maurice told me about it, I said, close off that TV and let's go and just investigate this, you know, what's happening with Trump. That's all I wanted to find out.
Were you guys watching it live too?
We were watching it live until, we actually got the news bulletin that he got shot, and then everything stopped and we turned it on and then watched it live.
You know,
Wow. How were you guys feeling in that moment? Like, what was your knee-jerk reaction?
I just close off the you know, the TV program we're watching, and let's get some let's find out how Trump is.
from an emotional perspective, it was a rerun of November 3rd, 2020. It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I will never forget how we felt in that moment, man. It was a rush of emotion, you know. It was like it's like being at like an emergency surgery or something, like at the operating table, like you're just like hoping everything goes good, you know.
yeah, I saw a video. You know, there's a lot of people. You go to a Trump rally and there's thousands of cameras around, and they're all rolling, and it takes a while for stuff to start coming up. But I saw one today that actually had a view of the snipers that shot the shooter with audio and everything. So it had the snipers, the shooter, and the audio, and the snipers pulled the trigger on the shooter so close on the first shot that you could hardly make a distinction between the guy shooting and the snipers taking him out. And then there were a whole bunch of shots that came after that were not visible in that video because the alleged shooter was already dead and the snipers were no longer shooting. And yet there were still bullets flying. So that was an interesting video. I don't know how that's going to play out, but there was another one that actually was taken from the side of the bullet's trajectory, and it caught the contact with Trump's ear. And so somebody went and put it in slow motion. So it's interesting to see it at this point because there's a lot of information coming out. And I gotta just warn everybody, some of it's good information and some of it's bad information, so just beware. Everything I just said could very well be bad.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting time to be alive.
It really, truly is. I don't think it's ever been like this before. And so that's interesting. So basically,
You have 1 minute remaining.
from the info you're looking at, which of course all this information is coming out now because it's fresh, he said the guy who was trying to assassinate Trump shot off, and then the Secret Service shot back within like a second, basically.
A fraction of a second. It was almost simultaneous.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but
Oh my gosh.
there were also delays. They had him in scope for I think minutes.
20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I mean they knew this guy was crawling around, so that's the hard part that's got to get looked at. But I was going to say this before we're out of time. So you remember exactly where you were when that happened, and you'll never forget that, right?
Never.
Yeah,
Never
sorry.
will forget that.
Yep. So I thought of 9/11, but I think you were too young for that to remember, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I was only like 3 or 4 years old. This is definitely a moment I won't forget. I don't.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
You want to give his Gift Send Go information since he was probably trying to do that?
Yeah, I don't know how this gets some go, but his inmate number is 390028, and that's Gregory Purdy, Purdy.
One thing as far as Give, Send, Go, it's hard to keep all this information in your mind. But generally, if you just type in Give, Send, Go, and then put the person's name, it will almost always take you to the donation site. So even if you don't have the exact moniker, just type in Give, Send, Go, and the name, and you should be able to get there.
Yep.
You know, that sounds like information that could be put on our website.
I think that's a
Imagine-
good idea.
Or in my
We could
newsletter.
put Give, Send, Go links for these guys on the website. I think we're gonna conquer that challenge.
Nice.
All right, I want to give you guys a little bit of information from one of my few correspondents on Core Links. Cheryl, I think you're corresponding with a lot of people on Core Links now, but I don't know how many.
Sometimes you get like 9 things a day, and it's kind of hard.
So Julian Cater, he is in Danbury, and I had spoken to him earlier on. He had been one of our callers here when we were outside at the jail, and we'll come back to that.
We're getting some calls tonight.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
James Grant.
Oh, okay, we got to do the James thing.
You want
an
to?
inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, your current balance is $19.24. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
James.
James.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
It's us.
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been a long time. You know, I got sentencing coming up, but I figured, you know, how could I not call Northern Neck and the great folks up there who took care of me when I was being tortured at Northern Neck. I don't really like to think about, but, you know, I love to call you guys. And a couple weeks out from sentencing, I'm 20 days out right now, about 30 months in. As some of you guys know, I had plans to be in law school right now, but, you know, it's just, it really hurt a lot at first. And I remember there was one day early on, and I was in Oxford, North Carolina, which the marshals took me there before they took me to Northern Neck. And I just remember looking out the window and just, I was alone in the cell. I felt horrible, and you couldn't see a TV. So they give you no entertainment. They don't give you a Bible. You can ask for a Bible. They'll say they'll get you one, but they won't. And I experienced that in the Feds too. That's kind of a common tactic of guards is
they say, you know, because so many people ask for things that some guards will just tell you that they're going to do it, and then, you know, maybe they plan to do it on their own time, but, you know, you might not get it. And I just remember sitting in that cell and no entertainment, so I don't know what you're supposed to do with yourself. They had TVs, but I couldn't really see it from where I was, and oh man, I just remember looking, and my dad had said it, you know, he thinks it's going to be 33 to 41 months based on, at the time, what he had thought. And my cousin's actually a prosecutor for the government, so they did some thinking, and they thought it'd be like 33 to 41. So I'm thinking like, oh my God, I got to do 3.5 years of this. I can't, and that's a daunting number in front of you. I know, given the sentences that some January 6ers have gotten, you know, 3.5 is like a blessing, but just sitting in that cell, it's like, oh my God, how am I going to take 3 years of this? What am I going to do? And just, I would have given anything at that point to zoom forward to this point where I'm now 30 months in. And yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's how time works, but I am a completely different person from that point, and I'm a totally different person now. And you know, I had plans to be in law school, but you know, maybe God had a different path for me, and this experience has totally changed me. I still get headaches a lot. It's really precarious. I don't think the food here agrees with me. I think all the salt just like gives me headaches. Sometimes it's the heat, or you know, they moved us units. I don't know if you guys heard.
Yeah.
They moved us right next door, but oh my gosh, there was like what they call wick in the whoever had my cell before me smoked constantly, and they were squeamish earmuffs. But there was I looked like a seashell. It was a giant yellow toenail sitting on the floor when I got into the room. And I tried not to vomit for like the next 2 minutes, and as soon as they let us out of our cells, I paid someone else to $20 to clean my cell, because I was not going to touch it. But it is so smoked out, it is disgusting. But you know, he cleaned it, and then I went back and cleaned it more after that, and put the work in, so it's a little better. But yeah, no, I mean, just the point out was when you get a headache in jail, especially if they make it a commodity seemingly everywhere to get headache pills. The one place they didn't was in the federal system. You can buy Excedrin. Thank God, which is the only thing that works for me. But yeah, you get a headache in jail, you are just going to suffer, Tom. I mean, it is brutal. And so many of my nights were just sitting there counting down, thinking like, please let morning come so I can go try to take a shower and try to feel a little bit better. And I've spent hundreds of nights like that.
Ugh.
And yeah, I think my time's been a little harder than others based on just my, you know, the medical situation. But you know, it hasn't been easy on anyone. And you know, John Todd was called to go to the feds, so he's going to prison to serve his 5-year sentence for his role in January 6th. He's a Marine, combat veteran.
And he's
it's surreal to be in this situation, Tom.
Yeah. So John Todd's leaving tomorrow, I thought, right?
Yeah, well, they tested him, temperature checked him tonight, I guess, for COVID, and did an X-ray for tuberculosis. But I think they're gonna take him Monday, so we may get another night with him.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he'll be gone by Monday morning.
Mondays are usually the day that they do the transfers.
Yeah, you get temp checked. If you make it through that Sunday, you're usually good. But I think Tate left this week, and I think he left on like a Tuesday or Wednesday. But yes, you're correct. It's usually a Sunday night that people leave. So it's just surreal. He's a good buddy of mine. He plays basketball with us. We got a real good basketball thing going on. I'm a captain, and David Dempsey's a captain, and we pick teams, and it's where we play super competitive. You know, we get mad. You guys got to see it. It's straight jail basketball. Like people are hanging off each other and fouling like crazy. But you know, you don't want to call fouls. It's kind of like some, you know, pride issues. So it's they're crazy intense games. It's really fun. So we're gonna be one man short for that going forward. But yeah, you know, crazy. And yeah, I don't know if anyone talked about it, but during the assassination, I guess someone in there was watching live, and he said Trump's dead, and they just shot, they assassinated, and we all go in the room, and he's down, he's not standing up, and just I haven't felt that kind of terror, and the terror we all felt was just palpable. And oh my God, it was crazy. It was just like a different world. We had to fathom a different world for a second, and one of just such evil. And then apparently, someone, I didn't see it first, but I didn't understand what's happening. And then someone said, like I was raising his fist or something, and oh my God, and I started the USA chant, and I was choking John Todd out because he's a little guy. But it was a great moment. We all started chanting USA. Copeland started punching the light, and at that moment, it was like, keep punching the light and break it, it's just a celebration. But, oh my God, it was terrifying. And they cut the phones off immediately, and we were in the middle of doing 1,000 burpees. Like, we're all going to attempt to do it. I only made it to like 260 because I stopped and I wanted to shower. Because I'd been locked in before, and I didn't want to be drenched in sweat in my cell while, locked for days. So I ran to the shower. And then if they didn't lock it down, they did not, so everyone else continued their burpees, but I'd already showered. It was a crazy day. And of course, later that day, the pod stood together and certain individuals expelled from the pod, which I do think ended up being the right decision. But July 13th was a crazy day. And, it's looking like Trump's got it in the bag now. And the only question becomes, it's starting to become like, I don't see how they can lose. I don't see how, I don't even see how they can begin to try to spin the story where he loses. And, how are the polls looking? How are the polls looking, Tom?
Oh, the polls? I don't follow any polls, honestly.
Yeah.
You can tell.
No.
Go ahead.
Yeah, James, this is John Haynes. How are you?
Hey, John, I'm good. How are you?
Good. As far as the polls, as you know, the nationwide polls don't mean quite as much. But just before I came up here, I checked, and he's up by 5 in the nationwide polls. But most importantly, he's going through the roof in the battleground states. I think he was up by 9 in Georgia, 8 in Nevada. I should have written this all down. But anyway, he's increased his lead even more. And the last poll I saw, are you sitting down? He was up by 3.
Yeah, I'm ready.
He's up by 3 in Virginia today.
I saw that a couple of days ago. We did see that on Scripps News. Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
He's also...
in Virginia, yeah.
Well, he's also, believe it or not, up by 2 in Jersey, and I think
in New
1,
Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
And 1 in New Hampshire.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
He's gonna
Oh
do
my,
it.
yeah, if he can get Virginia, how many electoral votes are in Virginia?
18?
Like
I
13?
think that's right,
I'm
yeah.
not sure.
18?
Yeah. I'm not sure, but in the teens. But it's significant.
Yeah,
He's
so
gonna
that,
get all 50 this
If he
year.
wins
Well, I mean,
Virginia, if he wins Virginia, he could lose the Rust Belt and still win. Now, I don't think it's going to happen.
yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's.
Yeah, no, oh my God.
The latest-
I thought it went red last time, so,
Well, the latest
yeah,
mock-up on the
that
new
would be
polls,
amazing.
according to the new polls, he would win the Electoral College 333 to 212, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow, and it's only 278 to win, right? Or
272, I believe.
78? Wow,
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Two-
Yeah,
270 to
it's
win.
just to lose at this point.
No.
That's amazing. So then if he can win Virginia on top of that, it just really is too big to rig. And that's crazy.
Well,
But
we can't take it for
yeah,
granted.
No pun intended.
no, we got to keep going. Yeah, and I think that's why the JD Vance pick makes so much sense. I think he was going for Michigan and Pennsylvania. But that's amazing news. Sorry, I was talking to someone else there.
Another thing, James. Just before I came up here, Mark Zuckerberg gave an interview, and he said he's rarely felt as patriotic as when he raised his fist in the air, and he said he is not going to contribute any money to this year's campaign, and he called Trump a badass. Now this is Zuckerberg.
I heard that today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is as close to an endorsement as you will ever get from Mark Zuckerberg. And I think, the chips are falling. And the only thing I worry about is are they going to try, are they going to try to replace Biden? I don't know. There's a lot of question marks. When you said we can't take it for granted, and that's probably the challenge that the Trump campaign is facing right now is keep this momentum going. But with images like that, you can't lose. I mean, that was just heroic beyond words, and yeah, that was amazing.
What it looks like,
but,
James, is it looks like that Biden is going to announce that he's not drop his candidacy because of health, but that he's going to remain as president through the end of his term, and he's not going to endorse Kamala. They're going to leave it to an open convention. That's the latest I heard, and it's from a Democratic operative.
I heard that too.
Right, I heard that yesterday.
Well, they said by this weekend. They
Right.
actually said by this weekend, by Sunday or Monday, this might happen.
I guess we got to sweat it out till Sunday. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I gotta go. I gotta pass it off to the next person. We got a cram schedule here tonight. But it was great talking to you guys as always. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys again soon. Pray for me. I got sentencing on the 8th.
Right.
The 8th of August. So.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Call us before that.
Yeah. Look forward to talking to you guys again. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye
God
now.
Love
bless
you
you,
guys.
James.
Bye, James.
Bye.
Thank you for using.
After they did that one that you just mentioned, the open thing with Kamala and 3 other people, then that was followed up a couple hours later with a poll, a BS poll that said that Kamala would win 47-41.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. I can't wait for her first debate with JD.
Oh, that's gonna go really well for
The
her.
cackling's gonna be really,
It won't be a laughing matter.
She'll be unburdened.
do the Kamala.
Be unburdened.
I think she's already unburdened.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely unburdened. I can't tell who drinks more, her or Nancy.
It's a tough call.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Benjamin Burlew.
Ah,
Who?
an
Benjamin.
inmate at the Washington DC Central Detention Facility.
your husband's on the
To
line.
accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up or press 1.
Husband's on the line. Hi, this is Cheryl from Northern Net.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Benjamin Burlew.
an inmate at the Washington DC Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $19.24. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Telling.
Hi, this is Cheryl from Northern Net.
Hey, how are you doing tonight?
Is this Benjamin?
Yes, ma'am.
Guess what? Your wife is watching here right now, so you could say hi to her.
Hey, honey, I hope that you're doing well. I miss her. She is a beautiful woman of God, and she is the strongest woman that I've ever been around in my life. Her supplication with the Lord, it would be much more difficult in here, I am sure.
Wow, good for you.
That's awesome to hear. I love hearing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, she is, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, in times like these, when you hear about, couples, one supporting the other this way and with this strength, it's encouraging. By the way, she says she loves you.
Yeah,
She says she loves
yeah,
you.
I can tell you that my wife, she I didn't get saved until 2019. Didn't even know who the Lord was, and my wife that same year had lost her husband in a car wreck, and I got saved 2 weeks later, and I think we were married 7 months after that. But she lost her husband on Mother's Day of 2019, and then they took me this year, the day after Mother's Day. So this government, this regime that's here, this entity that is all about control and uses exactly what the devil does, to divide, to conquer, and he's not going to get away with it. The Lord is standing, and we have a man named Trump that stands on the Word of God too. And Saturday night when he put his hand up
I've been through combat a lot and been shot at a lot. And I know what it's like to have bullets just zipping by you. And for that man to look out in the crowd, and the only thing he could think about was, I need to make sure that they know that I'm okay. That's a man that's worth standing on any day of the week. And I'm glad that he is our commander-in-chief, and he's in charge of what's going to be going on in this country after this election. And I'm thankful that he is a man of God.
Absolutely. So tell us about yourself. I think this is your first time calling in, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it's my first time. I'm a combat vet from spent time in Ranger Battalion, and then spent some time in the 173rd Airborne Brigade, scout platoon there, and I did that from 2001 to 2009. I'm a 100% disabled combat vet, TDIU. Also disabled through Social Security disability, and for multiple things. I've been blown up twice and fallen off the side of the mountain and all kinds of wild stuff. But I have 5 children. I'm married. My wife, like I said, she's amazing. I just came to the Lord in 2019, and I was in Bible college prior to this. Charis Bible College, actually, and I was able to find trust in God's plan and His plan for my life and what He expects out of me as a human being, and not just a human being, but somebody that's fervently seeking after Him. And it's a blessing to, I know people don't really think about that, but to have a separation of the world and have it cut off from you, there's not much you can idolize in here except Him. So the one saving grace through this is that I do get to spend time in my Word. When I first got here, they had me locked in the hole for about 20 days. Seems every combat veteran that comes in here gets locked in the hole down there when we first get here for some reason. It makes no sense to me. They classify you as soon as you get here, and then they shove you in that hole for about 20 days and then bring you over here. It makes no sense, but that's what they've been doing. I have 3 wonderful children at my home with my wife. Anna, Emma, and TJ, and then I have another one, Grayson. The government has taken him from me in a way. I've had protective orders put against me because of January 6th, and I haven't got to see or talk to him in almost 4 years. So, but that'll work itself out. Yeah, it's pretty wild what they've done. They've shut down every business that we had. They shut down all my wife's businesses. She's a certified public accountant, and the town that we lived in shut down every business would let her renew her license. On top of that, there's just multiple other things that have gone on from January 6th that have separated. I don't speak to my family. I haven't talked to my mom in almost 4 years, my sisters. It was a pretty big ordeal. But one thing I know through all of this is that when you stand on the Word and you stand on what God gave you, and you hold Him in your hand and you walk around with Him, it's a lot more peace and rest in that than anything else this world can give you. I do know that.
And
So that's a little bit about myself.
And what is your wife's name?
Brandy.
Okay.
I got Maurice's ear.
Yeah, so so it's been a while. The sailors say brandy. So
9
you
years in the
ended
military.
up. How long did it take between the time January 6th and the time that they actually knocked on your door, if they actually were polite enough to knock? Good question.
That was August of 2021 whenever I was arrested. I was arrested by, I don't know how many federal agents, but it was a lot. And I was released on PR bond. They tried saying that I was a danger to society and a flight risk and all this other stuff. I can't really go into a bunch of details on it right now because there's other stuff coming up.
They've been doing a lot of things like that to former military because you have been trained. So that's one of the motives behind it.
Yeah, it's a really sad day in America when they want to take the men that have given up, that were willing to give up their lives for the freedom of everybody in this country, and they want to take it and trample on it like we're some foreign adversary that lives inside the walls, the great country of this United States. And you know, in 1871 is how they started doing that. They broke this down and they started to regulating everything and bypassing law. They almost created a new Magna Carta the way they did it with these three-letter agencies. It's really sad. And the whole thing is that, you know, they kept us so busy and they created a new king out of Washington, D.C. and started pushing all of the things. They said that, oh, we're going to give you this or we're going to give you that. And we all came into agreement with it. And when that happened, they were able to take our rights. And I'm so thankful for the new Chevron Act that just went through. So maybe some of this regulatory service could start to get dealt with.
Yeah, we're just talking about the Chevron case.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very, very important. The way that they are able to enslave every American is through that. So the kind of way to think about it is the border prisons, right? So they have a thing, the law states about narcotics. Prescribe you narcotics, but one of those narcotics is cannabis. Well, the border prisons have a regulation, and the DOJ that has a regulation that you're not allowed to use cannabis, but any other narcotic you want. That's a regulatory service, not law. So hopefully some of these easements from this process will allow the government to take its hooks out of its citizens and allow the citizens to decide through Constitution and through constitutional law what's best for our country. And that seems like what Trump was calling for last night. J.D. Vance has called for it. Both great picks for our country for sure.
You know,
Remember hearing about the bump stocks? Well,
oh yeah,
they reversed that on the ATF and said you can't do that because bump stocks aren't mentioned in the law that Congress wrote, and so therefore you can't say anything about it. That's kind of like what the Chevron overturn does for us. You know,
yeah, that's it's amazing because it'll start to not allow them to send it back to who they say is the experts in that field, because it's a way for Congress to bypass the law and say, we didn't do it. It's a way for them, I didn't do it. And then they can have a three-letter agency take the fall for it, but then that three-letter agency is protected by the government. So the people are enslaved through that process. Every single thing regulation does gets rid of our Bill of Rights. Yeah. If we could go back to the Bill of Rights, which we don't have a constitution without it, and those Bill of Rights stand fast and firm for every U.S. citizen, every mother and father should be teaching their children the Bill of Rights. Every mother and father should be teaching them the Declaration of Independence. Every mother and father should be teaching their kids the Constitution. Don't allow the school to teach your kids anything. You teach your children the most important things that our country was founded on, and it's those three things to include God. God was the number one reason, and then those three things came from it. So Federalist Papers is another one. If people could really dive into that, it would really change a lot in the way our children are raised, and it would really change their outlook on what's going on right now. You don't have these children trying to fight with their parents and think that they're in charge somehow. I don't know how that works one day, but it has.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, that's pretty tough. You know, that you mentioned the Federalist Papers, and that's like the most detailed owner's manual for the Constitution that you could ever want.
I actually had a talk with somebody the other day in here. I said, you know, the Declaration of Independence calls for each country or each state to have its own ability to provide for itself. The Constitution gave us the Bill of Rights, but the Constitution surpassed that. The 28th Convention of States that Nobody really talks about that either, or continuity of government that's going on right now. There's a lot of things that are afoot in our country that if people would get back to executive orders and law and the law war manual and go back into some of the things that happened from 2017 to now, they would probably notice a lot more things happening in our country than they realize.
Yeah, that's a good point. Really good point.
Really good point. You know, to your point there, oftentimes it's the case that Americans, we get an election, we vote for somebody, and then we walk away from it until the next election. We're not paying attention in between, you know, one election and the next. And that's kind of on the people.
Yeah, whenever he says they have it all, we got to go back to the day that he was standing there and he said, "I'm giving your republic back," and he had the JAG standing on one side, he had the intelligence officer standing on the other, and most people don't know during a time of maritime law or a time that we're at war or we've been federalized. The National Guard was federalized on January 7th of 2021. The only one that can do that is the Commander-in-Chief, and they're still federalized to this day. Right now, there's things going on that I wish there was a lot more. There's a man named Derek Johnson. If everybody wants to go find out what's probably going on in our country, they should probably go listen to him.
Yeah, we listen to Derek Johnson.
Yeah, Derek Johnson's awesome. He's one of those guys that really has a good handle on airspace and what's going on up there.
Yeah, he does the laws and orders and.
Yeah, I really appreciate his ability to break down executive orders and the law war manual and the Uniform Code of Military Justice, which is highly important right now. I don't know if anybody's noticed that Joe Biden has not had any gold fringe around any flag that he's had the entire time when he's been speaking the last 2 years. None, zero.
You have 1 minute remaining.
So the symbolism,
And then,
the symbolism there is that he's not really there.
I would say that I would go with what Tucker Carlson said the other night, that a dead man can be put into office if they can get enough votes swung in their way.
Right.
That's literally happened.
Yeah. I heard that.
I think in Pennsylvania, Congressman that was dead.
Love Tucker.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you all. My time seems to be up here, and I appreciate y'all having me online, and hopefully I get to talk to you guys in a week.
Benjamin,
Yes.
thanks for calling.
Thanks.
God bless you guys, and talk to you guys soon.
God bless
God
you.
bless you, Derek.
All right, night.
Thank you for using Global Tel.
That was Benjamin Burlew, and anybody who has Give Sing Go can donate at 389-736, and his last name is spelled Burlew. And this is the first time he called in, and it was really nice talking with him. And he's been in the military for 9 years. Served in Afghanistan and Iraq.
So Cheryl, are you corresponding with him? I mean, how did you know about him? Is he somebody that you're writing to?
I wrote to him once when he was in the SHU, and I don't know if he got that letter or not because he was in the SHU. As soon as I know that they're there, I try to write, and I don't know if they gave him my letter or not, but I gotta send him another one. But I listen to the DC Vigil and hear him talking, and he loves to live off the land, and he loves to fish, and does all that kind of stuff that we do over here in the Northern Neck.
Sounds good. Great. One thing I want to get out before we're running out of time here. Chris Quaglin was in solitary because they did a cell check about a week ago, maybe last Tuesday, something like that. Or maybe it was just earlier this week.
Tuesday,
Yeah, Tuesday this week, so it's been less than a week. But they did a cell check, and apparently there was a shiv found, and for Chris's father, that was not Chris's, but anyway, they locked him and the other individual up into solitary, and then just found out today that he had gone through and been deemed not guilty.
Not guilty.
of possession of that, so he's been let out of the
All charges are dropped.
all charges dropped, so he's out of solitary. So folks might be interested to know that about Chris Quaglin.
He's also gonna be on the move again next week, leaving Philadelphia and going somewhere else. So we'll keep you informed.
And just real quick, Julian Cater, again, I was talking about him. So he's in the same facility that Steve Bannon is in. And so I suggested to a friend that, hey, I'm corresponding, I could get a message to Steve Bannon. But if you all remember, Steve Bannon said in an interview before he went into jail, don't write me letters because I won't read them. I'm telling you right now, I won't read them because I'd rather you spend your time spreading the message out amongst the American people outside. So doesn't mean you can't do a shout out to him and say hello, but I really appreciated what he was saying, which is spend your energy wisely and make sure that you're doing things to wake people up to this whole travesty of January 6th.
So we have 4 minutes to the anthem, and hopefully they'll call back and we can all sing together. It'd be good if Todd calls back, John George Todd, because it will be the last time we speak to him. Once they leave DC.
Once they leave DC and go to the, out to BOP prisons, they cannot call back. And so John George Todd calls almost every week, and so if he's leaving tomorrow, then we won't be able to talk to him unless he calls tonight.
One exception. So I don't know how Blue can call, but he said he will next week.
All right, in case anybody's wondering where Larry Hinson is tonight, he had to cut grass. He just texted me a little while ago saying he just finished. It's too late, but he'll be here next week.
Okay, we were wondering about that.
All right, and then also for anybody who didn't notice, we've got some fresh Virginia peaches. These are from right here.
They all know.
Right here, and we're gonna.
Decorating everything.
Yeah, so it's that time of year, and we're just enjoying it.
I already had one. All right, 2 minutes.
Tell you what,
So let's get up our.
I've got a throat thing going on tonight, so I think I'm gonna advocate singing with the anthem. And, so I'm gonna check out a couple minutes early.
All right, John, thanks for being here.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't wanna give anybody an ear bleed.
You
Don't take
You
care.
don't have to sing.
Keep up the good work.
You too. You too. Great job on the Sentinel this month again, as always. John, you want peaches? That's why they're here. Take a few.
I'll take a couple.
Have a peach.
I need to eat something healthy now and then, just to confuse my body.
I've been doing that lately, and it can get painful from time to time.
Oh,
Well,
it's a shock.
he's still recovering from his 11-night stay at the hospital a couple weeks ago.
Oh my God, are we gonna do this alone without the J6ers?
No, come on, call. 1 minute. They'll probably call right when we're singing.
Yeah.
Well, that's 9, guys. You want to do it?
All right.
Well, it's kind of a tradition. You can't really walk away from it.
We can always sing it twice.
We did last time. We sang in the parking lot, but here, let's go ahead.
All right.
Ah, here we are.
Perfect timing.
This is a prepaid call from
Another.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $19.24. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tel-Link.
Hello, hello.
Through the night, then our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner o'er the land of the free and the
Fight, fight,
Fight, fight. All right.
Yeah, all right, so we can do that.
USA, USA,
All
fight.
right, sorry guys, we were trying to get in here a little sooner, but my fingers and GTL did not want to cooperate with each other tonight.
Hey, John, we did fine. We got in there with you, man. Thanks for calling.
My pleasure. It's my last time being able to call.
Yeah, we were hoping you were gonna call tonight. We heard the news that you're
Yeah,
leaving.
I found out. So I was able to take over the vigil for like a week, and then I found out I was leaving today when they were like, "Hey, you're getting your chest X-ray done." And I went down there and they confirmed it. They're like, "Yep, you're about to head out if you're getting your chest X-ray." So
Wow.
I didn't want to miss my last opportunity to call you guys.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Are you happy to be going or continuing your journey?
You know, they say there's mixed emotions. There is, and I'm not mad at it. But I really wish I could have stayed till next Friday at least, because next Monday I guess, because it's my birthday next Friday. So I wouldn't mind hearing the happy birthday that would be sang.
Oh, we can sing it to you tonight.
Yeah, we can sing it to you now.
It don't count as that. Well, I mean, if you guys sing it, I won't be mad. But yeah, it don't count for them to do it this week.
Well, we'll do it next Friday. How about that?
Well, July 26th, right? That's when your birthday is. We'll think
Yeah.
of you, and you might, I sent you a birthday card. You might be getting it.
We'll sing it for you in your absence.
Did you get the birthday
And then
card?
I can listen to it when I get out.
Yes.
Did you get the birthday card I
What'd you
sent you?
say?
Did you get the birthday letter
I
card?
did. Thank you. I did. Thank you.
Okay, because I try to send it out in time.
Which one was yours actually? So I know for sure.
I'm Cheryl Johnson, and I think it was a picture with cats on it.
Yes, I did. Okay. But I got like a couple different pages with a bunch of people signing it too. So
Oh, no,
I
that
didn't know if that was you or the DC one. Or
was probably
something,
DC.
Yeah.
But anyway, just
Yeah.
happy birthday in
Yeah,
advance.
I appreciate it so much because it was amazing to hear.
Yeah.
Or I guess to see. And it was
Well,
that first card they actually gave me that I got to keep and wasn't a photocopy.
oh,
Really?
Are you kidding me?
And I'm like, why? Yeah, all the other cards and postcards they sent were photocopies. And I was like, what's the point of this? Like, can't you just keep the photocopy and give me the original, you dirty people?
Right.
Right?
so my card, they gave you the actual card?
Yes.
Ah, great.
Awesome. Wow.
It took a minute to catch up because they sent it over to the CDS side, and then they were like, oh, he's not here anymore. He got out of the hole, so we're going to send it over to the other side, and I got it in time.
Oh,
So
that's
it's in my
good.
belongings and ready to ship out.
Yeah, that's good.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, that's really a hard part, because when folks ship out, the time it takes to get from point A to point B and the number of stops that might happen along the way make it really confusing.
Yeah.
And how do you get all your belongings to the next place you go? I mean, do they ship it to you, or you bring it with you? You're packing up tonight, or what? How does that go?
I have to send it home. I can't transfer anything but my beautiful self with me and the clothes that I have on my back. I can't take nothing else with me. So the Bible and stuff that I have, I can't take that.
Wow.
I can't take paper with anybody's numbers or nothing. It's just me.
Wow.
Oh, wow. So we have to make sure we communicate to the next spot so that you get all our numbers again.
And I have my little booklet with all the numbers going to my aunt. So what I'm going to try and do is pass it to her during visitation tomorrow, if I'm lucky enough.
Okay.
But I'm going to try and make all my calls tonight for the people that are back home. So I can be like, hey, I'm leaving. You're not going to be able to hear from me for a while, but I'm okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
You know, it's kind of a blessing that they canceled visitation today because I might be able to get a 2-hour visitation with my aunt for the last time tomorrow.
Oh, that would be nice.
God willing, I get the 2 hours with her and everything works out the way it's supposed to work out.
Yeah. Well, we'll be praying for you, man.
Yeah, that needs to happen. That needs to happen.
How exciting was that speech last night at the?
That was awesome. You know, did you notice the way he started off was much more gentle than the way he ended it?
Absolutely.
I mean, anybody that's got a hostage, you better have him released before I take office or you will pay. That was awesome.
Oh, he said that at the very end?
Yeah.
Okay, so for the last 10 minutes or so, they had us locked in the cell, so I didn't hear that.
Yeah, that was one of his.
They let us locked up for that.
That was one of the last lines in his speech, which I thought was kind of awesome. But you know, it was interesting how his face and his demeanor changed progressively throughout the entire speech. He started off as a guy somber with the realization that somebody just tried to shoot him. And then, towards the end, he's got all the conviction of fight, 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 and showing a lot more gusto. So I'm fairly certain it was all on purpose, but he did it well. It was really done well.
And I don't know if you.
And I think that whole convention, I think that whole convention had powerful speakers.
I don't know if you heard the opera song at the end when well, you probably didn't. It says his fight opera song, and anyway, when it's an Italian song, but when you translate it, the last 2 lines it says, "In dawn I will fight, or no, I will win,
I will win, I will win." Dan Scavino posted that.
I didn't hear it, but I can't wait to.
Yeah.
It's awesome. The whole thing was just really done well.
And if you notice, we had way better looking people at that convention than any convention.
Yeah, there was no purple or pink hair in the audience.
No, and they were just beautiful people.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
The only thing that would have made it look even better would have if they would have caught me on camera.
Well, you know, I'm surprised that you weren't invited to speak.
Hey, man, I would love to, but, you know, unfortunately, there's some people here that are way more happy that I'm here occupying their time. Although I will say this, a lot of guards said that they will miss me and that I made an impact. So, you know what?
That's worth something.
Where I need to be when I need to be there.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
I never thought I'd hear guards say with that.
Yeah, that's really cool to hear.
That's extremely cool. Because, like you, who will never forget this ordeal, they'll probably never forget you.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that you can make a good impact on somebody's life during the most terrible thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's a huge thing that God allows.
You know, there's a movie that was made back in the 70s. One day maybe you can get it and watch it. It's called Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. And it's about
Mr. What?
Mr. Lawrence. And
Okay.
it's about a Vietnam soldier who gets captured and somehow in a really weird way becomes friends and partners with his primary captor. And that's the last line in the movie is Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence. If you get the chance, you might want to watch it because it's kind of all about, you know, making a positive impact on somebody that starts off being an enemy and then becomes kind of a friend.
Yeah, absolutely. And my sister told me, she goes, you make impacts on people's lives all the time. I was like, I think you're full of it. And she goes, everybody that has met you since you moved to South Carolina, she goes, it's like they have good things to say about you, like great that you impacted their life. And I was like, yeah, I don't see what you see, but okay. And like, so it was nice to be able to see it. In this case, I was like, I didn't expect to see it, but then I was like, maybe my sister was right.
Maybe she was.
Maybe your sister might know you in a way that you don't. Yep. Sisters do that, you
She
know.
always tries to say she's smarter, but
Well, that's what sisters are for. Yeah.
and to scare away girlfriends and stuff.
Yeah, that's what they do. Exactly. I know that story. So,
But my sister has the best intentions, so I try to listen to her as much as I can.
hey, you know what?
Then I ignore her.
When you swing a sledgehammer on a rock, the chips don't really fall that far apart, and you and your sister are very similar.
Yeah,
You know?
we are actually quite similar.
Yeah.
Well, John, hey, listen, we can talk as long as you want, but if you got a lot of calls to make, just tell us. It's up to you.
Oh no, I'd rather spend our last call fully devoted to this call.
That's good. Great. Hey, well, maybe one of the things that's looking good is that you don't have to be in that nasty pod, right? Although I've heard from the guys that they're cleaning it up pretty well. But was that really a big?
Oh yeah, we're trying to take pride in it.
Yeah, that's the word that other people said. You guys do take pride in the place that you live and sleep. So, can you imagine what filth, what that must have been like, the people living in that place to make it that bad? Awful.
I had to clean peanut butter off the walls, which was really weird while you got handprints full of peanut butter all over the walls. And after hearing the story that one guard said, I'm glad I didn't get that done.
Wow.
Well, hopefully you go to a place that's closer to your home and you can see your family.
Yeah, like I told people on the DC Visual, send me to Missouri or close to my sister. And if you don't send me those places, send me somewhere close enough to where I got a Marine buddy that can come visit me. And I'll be happy.
Yeah. Your sister's in South Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then my son's in Missouri, so if they can send me to either of those two spots, I'll be the happiest man alive.
Yeah.
And then I'll be able to get to visit my son. And if I don't get to visit my son, at least then I have support of my sister and some of the friends from church.
Well, we'll keep track of where you are, and I'll let everybody know where you are, and I'll write to you.
I can't wait, and I will be right.
You have 1 minute remaining.
But I will, if somebody can add themselves and text me so I can go ahead and give you my mom's number. I kind of don't want to put it out all over the place.
Right.
That and my sister's number, so in case they're struggling to find me and you guys know, maybe you guys can touch base with each other.
Okay.
Okay.
We can do that.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, we will try to do that.
Okay. But I love you guys, and I'm so glad I got the opportunity to meet and talk to you guys. Well, not face
Yeah.
to face, but we'll meet soon, face to face. And,
We will meet.
You guys made an impact on my life.
Awesome. Glad we could help.
Have safe
I couldn't,
journeys
be more
tomorrow.
grateful.
Safe journeys where you're going, and be safe.
I will tell Kate you guys said hello.
Good. Good. Thank you, John.
Thank you for using Global Tel Link.
Do you know how to do that? How to text him?
No. But I could write to him. If he writes back, I could, whatever.
Let me see if I can do a little checking around on that. Or anybody online, what John just asked us to do was to add him to his text.
Yeah.
So he could send us some info.
Well, when he gets to the BOP, if he contacts us through core links, then.
That's his point. He wants to do it now so that we can keep in touch, but we'll figure it out. So yeah, if anybody has the experience with doing that, put it in the comments. That'd be great. All right. And what do you think? You guys want to call it a wrap?
Okay.
Yep.
We'll see you next week then.
Thanks everybody for tuning in, and spread it around. And as always, pray for the J6ers. Write them, help them, support them however you can, and talk to people on the street. I just did it again today, and people get it. They know this is wrong, so that's why we're here.
Ava
Love
says
you all.
Go to GTL.
Go to GT. You want to stay on for a minute?
That's as far as it's gone.
Yeah.
Well, we'll check it out.
Yep, we'll do it. Thanks, Ava. Appreciate it. All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks, Ava. Bye.
I haven't checked out with anybody